Let's talk about the real divide between rich people mindset and the poor people mindset, and most importantly, how to shift yours. If you're in the middle of a career or financial transformation, or just trying to break free, this video might be your turning point. We're diving into 3 fundamental shifts that separate a rich mindset from a poor one, so you can reprogram your own to match the life you actually want to live. Let's start with the first one. Core beliefs, the classic abundance versus scarcity. You've probably heard this one 100 times, but stay with me because we are going deeper this time, especially into how it plays out in the workplace. So yes, people with a rich mindset move through life with an internal sense of abundance. They believe opportunities exist everywhere, and when they don't, they know how to create them. People with a poor mindset operate from scarcity. They see life as a competition for limited space. The pie is limited and fixed in size. If someone takes a slice, it means less for them. That belief leads to jealousy, comparison, and fear of sharing. At workplace, it shows up as colleagues fighting over visibility, hoarding information, backstabbing each other for promotions, or staying trapped in rivalry. But here's a deeper truth. Scarcity as an emotional habit is manufactured. It's taught, reinforced, and weaponized by systems that benefit from keeping people emotionally drained. So drained that they can't even think beyond survival. Because when you're fighting to survive, you don't have time or energy to question the structure that keeps you there. Throughout history, emperors, rulers maintained power not by sharing resources, but by control, by distributing just enough for people to survive, never enough to think outside of the box, to innovate, to rebel. The lie that resources are limited has always been a convenient way to justify inequality and keep people compliant. When the collective mind believes there isn't enough to go around, people turn against each other, compete horizontally, and fight over scraps instead of expanding upwards and developing vertical vision that transcends the hierarchy itself. And this dynamic hasn't disappeared. It's alive and well in modern workplaces. I noticed this shift. Before joining multinational corporations, I used to work for smaller, independent companies with flatter structures. The scarcity dynamic was much less visible because the owner or founder usually led directly. They were not threatened by employees because they had ownership. So the priority is to encourage employees to give it their best, to maximize growth and profit. But in large organizations, doesn't matter east or west, it's a whole new different ecosystem. You have layers of hired managers, so some people's power is often insecure. When the manager feels threatened, their focus changes from what's best for the company to what's safe for my position. That's when they start dividing their teams, like pitting people against each other, withholding recognition, or rewarding competition over collaboration. It's a way to maintain control because if the team unites too strongly, they could challenge leadership. If someone is widely recognized, they might outshine the manager. So vicious competition becomes disguised as performance culture. It's a modern echo of the ancient strategy. Keep the lower ranks busy fighting among themselves, so they never question the throne. If you don't recognize this manipulation, you get trapped in someone else's game, a game where the rules are designed for you to lose slowly. But when you do recognize it, something shifts. Yes, you still have to deal with the competitors, but you are not fighting for the same scraps. You direct your time and energy towards much bigger goals. And once you have this mindset shift, you become more strategic and focus on your own growth, skills, networks, and next level. Competing with people on your level might feel satisfying in the moment, but no matter how many times you win, it doesn't take you to the next dimension. Growth comes from stepping getting out of that mentality entirely and learning to play a bigger game. The second mindset difference shows up in how you spend your three most precious resources: time, energy, and money. You know how some people say, show me how you spend your time and money, and I will show you where you will be in 5 years. Cliché, right? But it's actually true. How you spend reveals your internal value and priorities. People with a rich mindset understand that time and energy are the most valuable currencies. Money can be lost and made again, but once your time and energy are gone, they're gone. So those people constantly look for leverage. They spend their time and energy on things they see potential return, connecting with people who create opportunities, and collecting information that moves them forward. When something saves them time or energy, they don't hesitate to pay for it. Money is a tool for efficiency. Meanwhile, the poor mindset says, I will waste my time and energy to save a little money. So they travel across town for discounts, park their cars super far away to save $5, or spend their days complaining about how unfair life is. Yes, venting is human, but when your mental and emotional bandwidth keeps looping around frustration instead of creation, where does your growth come from? And if you're someone with low energy levels like me, you really have to prioritize energy conservation and efficiency. This mindset also shows up in self-care, like skincare. Someone with a rich mindset might invest in a 1-hour professional treatment that works. Someone with a poor mindset spends hours every day doing 20-step routines and endless hacks that don't touch the root issues. Being busy feels like control, but it's not productivity. Poor mindsets love to stay busy with drama, routines, distractions, and repetitive comfort habits because real change feels uncertain and uncertainty feels unsafe. So, in truth, the very busy, poor mindset is stuck and confuses exhaustion with achievement. It values effort, but the rich mindset values effectiveness, the ROI, return on investment. And something very important I want to share, especially if you are still stressed about money. When your savings, the cash in your bank, is below a certain amount, the emotional threshold that makes you feel at least a bit more relaxed in life. If your cash is currently below that safety threshold, stop rewarding yourself with things with consumerism. That number will differ for everyone. It can be 1,000, 10,000, 100K, a million. Basically, the number that makes you feel safe, that even if something happens, you can still live while figuring things out. Until you hit that mark, every purchase you make should have a purpose. Ask yourself, will this create more time, energy, or opportunity? Will this elevate me, expand my network, or refine my skills? Like a lipstick or some outfits you want to buy. Is it going to get you into a certain social circle? Is it going to help with your next job interview, your promotion? But do you already have something similar? And if you are going out for drinks, dinner, or to a trendy cafe, like a smoothie shop for photos, remember that your time and energy are also part of the cost too, and more important than your money actually. Ask yourself, is this an investment or just consumption? Yes, we all need to spend time with other humans, but is this gathering or trip going to inspire you, expand your network, or generate opportunities? If yes, go for it, that's investment. But if it's just to feel less lonely or look relevant, that's low return on investment. So stop underestimating the value of your time and energy. Every moment you waste on gossip, comparison, vanity, and any toxic exchange, you are trading your vitality for pennies that won't add up. And also, poor mindset glorifies busy because business feels like proof of importance. The rich mindset doesn't hustle 24/7 endlessly. They design systems. They learn to delegate because they understand that expansion requires letting go. Poor mindset refuses to let go of control. You've heard them say, I will do it myself. I don't trust anyone, or it's too expensive to outsource. And as a result, they stay overwhelmed, Rich in effort, poor in results. This is actually bad management style at workplace too. If you want anything done, you have to do it yourself, that type of manager. They don't know how to delegate, don't know how to trust. But if you always end up doing everything yourself, you demotivate your team and they're not gonna give it their best. It becomes a vicious circle and you'd be trapped in small tasks and keep wondering why others get promoted but not you. If you truly want to transform your career or financial life, stop cutting corners and start thinking strategically. And if you can't think of a strategy right now, learn. You probably have seen people who fail in life because they made series of bad decisions that led to a big fall. So how can we make smarter decisions and become more strategic? The answer is to keep learning new technologies, new industries, new opportunities. Learn about yourself, how to elevate your mindset and become wiser. Your future income will come from what your present self learns today. Every new information and new skill literally creates new neural pathways in your brain. As those pathways strengthen, so does your ability to make more intelligent decisions. And one day, after enough repetition and awareness, you will experience a quantum leap, both in your mindset and your physical reality. Now, the third major shift, instant gratification versus delayed gratification. We all know this concept now, right? But why are some people more likely to go for instant gratification? A quick reminder first. Instant gratification is choosing a smaller, immediate reward over a larger, later one. It feels good in the moment but sabotages long-term growth. Delayed gratification, on the other hand, is the willingness to hold uncertainty, to wait, to build, to let effort compound over time. It's a foundation of every sustainable form of success: health, savings, brands, and business. There's a famous study from the 1960s called the marshmallow test at Stanford. Preschool children were offered one treat right away or two treats if they could wait 15 minutes. Researchers found that the kids who waited tended to perform better later in life. They had higher school scores, higher incomes, better emotional control, and healthier BMIs. But decades later, a deeper truth emerged. The ability to wait wasn't just about natural-born willpower, it's about trust. Children from unstable or less privileged environments were impatient in the test because they learned that promises often got broken. In an uncertain and unreliable environment, grabbing what's available now is rational and practical. That's exactly how scarcity mindset forms in adults. When your body has lived in survival mode, the future doesn't feel safe. You can't delay gratification because deep down, you don't trust that future. You don't believe you will ever receive the rewards. So poor mindset chases quick fixes, shortcuts, and dopamine hits like shopping, scrolling, playing video games, binge eating junk food instead of working out or learning. Rich mindset tolerates uncertainty because they trust. They believe that energy invested today multiplies tomorrow, so they invest in themselves, their skills, their circles and networks. They think in cycles and seasons, not in days. You know, people who are scammed are quite often those who chase quick fixes and shortcuts. The instant comfort is always a tax you pay for long-term struggle. So let's bring it all together. A rich mindset is about emotional regulation, awareness, and direction. It's about how much trust you have in yourself, in your abilities, in the process. Scarcity is not destiny, it's programming. You can rewrite it by spending your time, energy, and money with awareness, intention, and strategy. By delaying gratification for your future self, by building vertically instead of competing sideways for scraps. When you shift from fear to trust, your energy changes and everything else follows. I hope we all get richer and more successful every day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!